So hello students, today we are going to see the questions of international relations that have been asked in this year's UPSC Mains. As continuing with the trend, there are 4 questions, 2 10 markers and 2 15 markers. So overall 50 marks are there for IR questions. And if you see the questions, these are the questions again continuing with the tradition that we are seeing post 2013 onwards when the syllabus has been revised. We are seeing that the questions, most of the questions are linked to the current, and this year also the questions are basic plus current related issues. So let us quickly see the question, and simultaneously with each question we are also going to see the trend also, and we are also trying to understand why this question might have been asked. So if we continue with the discussion, so number 1 question is, virus of conflict is affecting the functioning of the SCO. In the light of the above statement, point out the role of India in mitigating problems. So virus of conflict affecting the functioning of SCO and role of India in mitigating the problem. So let us first understand what might have been the rationale behind this question, and very interestingly, the SCO organization has been asked in 2021 as well, and it's a repetition just after a break of 1 year. 2021 SCO question was asked, where they have asked about the objectives of SCO and what are the benefits of India joining SCO. And this year again SCO has been asked. Generally there is a mindset in the candidates' minds, that there is a mindset of candidates that the questions, especially with respect to organizations which have been asked in the recent past, would not be repeated. But here, just within a gap of 1 year, SCO has been asked again. And if you see 2017 when India joined Ashgabat Agreement, Central Asia has been asked. 2021, 20 years of SCO, and 2021 onwards India's focus on Central Asia and SCO, again question was asked. And this year we were having the presidency. This year we were having the presidency of G20 and SCO, and most of the students were thinking G20 might be asked, but the question was on SCO. So Central Asia has been a focused area of Indian diplomacy for the last few years, ever since we are seeing the rise of China in Central Asia, and we have lot of economic and political and strategic interest in Central Asia. So that's why for the last 5-6 years we had 3 questions coming from Central Asia. This time it is the role India can play in mitigating the problems in SCO. So first line they have given is, virus of conflict is affecting the functioning of the SCO. In light of this, we have to say ki what role India can play. So you have to map the conflicts and what role India can play. So let us first try to understand that what are the conflicting areas, or what are the conflicts between the members in SCO. So when you look at SCO, SCO has India, SCO has Pakistan, SCO has China, SCO has Iran, and even SCO has your Central Asian countries minus आपका जो है तुर्कमेनिस्तान. Now, if you see the conflict, so India and China, we have boundary issues. India and Pakistan, we have terrorism issues. We have issues at LOC. Similarly, within Central Asian countries, we also have Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan boundary crossing issues. We have issues between Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. We have boundary issues. So there are a lot of issues between SCO. There is also a issue of trust deficit, especially between India, China, India, Pakistan, which is there. So we have issues, we have challenges. Now let us try to map it, what role India can do, or what can India do to mitigate this. So when you look at the border issues that we have within the SCO members, and we also have trust deficit issues, and we also have terrorism issues here, and we are accusing each other for promoting it, especially India and Pakistan. So what India can do here? So India has always been a country which has always promoted the philosophy of a secure, stable and prosperous Central Asia. And India has given the concept of secure. India has given the concept of secure. We have given this concept in 2018 at Qingdao, आपका जो है SCO summit. But this holds relevant even in the present times. So India talks about आपका security of all. S stands for security of all. E talks about economic development. C talks about connectivity. U talks about unity of the region. R talks about respect for sovereignty and integrity of each and every country. And then again आपका जो है E talks about environmental concerns. So these are the principles which India has been talking about in SCO. So when we see the conflicts, so what role India can play? India is talking about आपका जो है respect for sovereignty and integrity of a nation. And India has a past of resolving the boundary dispute without shedding even a single drop of blood. Consensus based resolution of boundary dispute with Bangladesh. So India can use its experience here also. India can act as a mediator to help the Central Asian countries resolve their boundary disputes. And India is also trying this with China. We are negotiating it. We are trying to build up the consensus on resolving the issue at LAC also. And we are also trying it for LOC, but it is not happening because of India and Pakistan relationship. So India can use its experience of peaceful resolution of boundary disputes. We have also peacefully resolved our maritime, we have peacefully delineated our maritime boundaries with Sri Lanka. So we have a lot of experience here which India can use here. Then conflict, if you see, the conflict happens because of trust deficit, and trust deficit happens because there is no आपका जो है intermixing of people, there is less connection between the people, and that is what India can bring in here. India can promote track 2, track 3 diplomacy here. India can go for economic development, because if you have to bring stability, if you have to bring आपका जो है resolve conflict के पीछे भी जो है आपका development is something which is very important. If you have development in the region, so naturally you try to come together. So if you see this region it needs a lot of development, and for that India is focusing on connectivity. We are focusing on connectivity. C is connectivity. So INSTC corridor we are promoting through this region, and we are also talking about digital connectivity. We are talking about green connectivity. So all kind of connectivity. This connectivity is definitely going to bring us together, unite us together in development. And then also people to people contact, people to people movement, track 2, track 3 diplomacy. Here also India can work. And if you see the countries, we have very old relationship with Iran. We have civilizational connect with Persian civilization. Similarly, with Central Asian countries also, we have very old civilizational, spiritual, cultural connect. And Pakistan or India to ek hi tha. And with China also, we have more than 2000 years old relationship. So we have that kind of a historical connect. So that is what India is now trying to focus, and India can bring all of them together by promoting people to people movement. India can help by promoting tourism, and that is why you have seen that during our presidency this time, Kashi has been declared as first SCO tourist and cultural capital. So that is what India can further promote. And then if you see all the countries in the region, all the countries of SCO member, they are facing the problem of terrorism or radicalization or drug trafficking. So here also India can work together, and that is what India has been emphasizing also. We can seriously work towards strengthening RATS, regional anti-terrorist structure, which is dedicatedly working against terrorism in the group. So India can play a major role here, because this is hampering development and building trust issues between the countries in the group. So here also India can play a major role in strengthening RATS. Apart from this also, if you see this SCO, India has taken up new initiatives, or India is promoting new initiatives to bring development, because if there is development, there would be stability, there will be more people to people, trust would be there. So India is now focusing on areas like aapka jo hai traditional medicine. India is focusing on youth empowerment. India is focusing on startups, innovation in this region. So India has done very good in these areas. Here also we can come together. And another area where we all can come together, and we all need to come together because we cannot resolve it alone, that is climate related issues. So this is E, environmental issues. Here also India can, and India is now playing a very important role in climate diplomacy, and within SCO also India can continue its efforts to bring all of them together, because none of the countries alone can deal with it. So India can be a uniting factor within the group to bring the countries together. So there are so many areas where India can use its experience, its expertise to bring the countries together, to help them mitigate the issues within the member countries. So this is what has to be written. So virus of conflict is affecting the, so how to structure this? So virus of conflict is affecting the functioning of the SCO. You may start it, you may begin it by just talking about in 2-3 lines what are the major आपके issues within the group amongst the member countries. You can talk about it, and then you can talk about how India can be helpful in resolving it, and in the end you can talk about that India is, though India is facing, in the concluding remarks, if you want, you may also add 2-3 lines like India is facing a major challenge in the group because all of them are connected to China through BRI. So we have a major hegemony challenge here, but despite that, India is trying hard to bring the countries together, and since 2021 we are observing that there has been a lot of focus in the SCO group. We have been constantly doing NSA level meetings here. We are also trying to stabilize Afghanistan and all those things. You can write 1 or 2 lines and you can end up your answer here. This is how we can write this question. And if you see this SCO, this has been covered in our classroom notes also, and since it was in the current, so it has been widely covered in our current affairs magazine also. So now let us move on to the second question. Indian diaspora. The second question is on Indian diaspora. Indian diaspora has scaled new heights in the West. Describe its economic and political benefits for India. So diaspora, if you see, it has become a very important foreign currency tool. So when you look at Indian diaspora, so Indian diaspora has been a focus area of our foreign policy. We are using diaspora as an important soft power tool. And since we are giving a lot of impetus on Indian diaspora, we see that there have been constantly questions coming every 2 years or every 3 years. They are asking you questions on Indian diaspora. Today, Indian diaspora is the largest diaspora in the world according to UN, and our diaspora is very influential also. So that is why the question was expected on diaspora, and this has been also covered extensively in the class notes also, and there have been diaspora related issues because there have been news items like India is the largest recipient of remittances, and also diaspora has been covered in our current affairs magazines also. So Indian diaspora has scaled new heights in the West. So geographically, keeping with the trend, they are asking you questions with respect to diaspora related to certain geography. So 2020 also they asked a similar kind of a question where they asked about the role of Indian diaspora in the economics and politics of US and Europe, and this time the term used is the West. So we can see a kind of a similarity, some kind of a similarity. Now Indian diaspora has scaled new heights in the West. Describe its economic and political benefits. So what are, like, how we can say that the Indian diaspora has scaled new heights? So new heights, we can give examples to talk about the new heights, like how in US we have the Vice President of Indian origin, Kamala Harris is there, and the next year elections are there, and the person who is running, one of the candidates who is running for US presidential elections is Vivek Ramaswamy, he is of Indian origin. Then we have Bobby Jindal, a very popular legislator in US. Kamala Harris is there. There's so many of them in US. Similarly, in aap dekhoge UK and other European countries also, we see that we have Mr. Rishi Sunak as the Prime Minister there. The Interior Minister of UK is Suella Braverman is there. Then Priti Patel is there. There are so many people of Indian origin who are sitting in the parliaments of these democracies. Indian origin people are now major leaders. They are the representatives of the population there. Indian origin people are a major vote bank there. They are important fundraisers in US and Europe. And when it comes to economic area also, you will see that all major global MNCs, most of them are having the Indian origin leaders. Like we have Sundar Pichai, we have Satya Nadella, we have Indra Nooyi, we have Swaraj Paul, we have Lakshmi Mittal, the steel tycoon. Then we have Sanjeev Gupta, the steel tycoon of UK. Then we have Mr. V. Khosla is there. Then we have Ram Shriram, and the count goes on. So many of our Indian origin people in the sphere of economy also, they are doing wonders. The Silicon Valley is full of Indian origin people. All major global MNCs are there. Many business tycoons of Indian origin are sitting in the West. So we have a lot of Indians in West. Indian diaspora has scaled new heights. So in the economic sphere also, and in the sphere of politics, we have become quite influential in the West. Now, the point is, describe its economic and political benefits for India. So when it comes to economic benefits, so when you're talking about economic benefits, of course, remittances are there. Remittance ka hai aapka. Remittances are there. Then aapka probability of FDI also increases. Probability of FDI also increases, and there has been a trend which you see that US has a lot of diaspora of Japan, US has diaspora of China, US has diaspora of India. So Indian diaspora has become influential in the last few years, but before that Japanese diaspora was very influential. So you see that US has lot of investments in Japan, US has lot of investment in China. So the diaspora is quite influential here. So definitely now we are seeing a lot of your investments coming from these countries to India. Though still we have not achieved the potential of FDI, but the potential is very high. So remittances is there, FDI is there. Then they act as brain banks. They share their expertise, they share their experience in the economic field with us. Like it is said that the Silicon Valley people, Indian origin people, they have helped in building IT sector in Bangalore. So they are sharing that. Then Indian diaspora also create demand. They create demand for Indian goods outside India. So naturally, because of that, it increases export. And now we are pitching for Atmanirbhar Bharat. So many of these Indian origin people, they are showing interest to invest in India under Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, and also it has a lot of economic benefits to India. And not only this, if you talk about economic, not from the terms of profit or loss, if you talk about economic support also, so we see that lot of your Indian origin people are providing funds during natural calamities. Lot of Indian origin people, they are supporting many of your NGOs who are working in the area of education, food security in India. So there is a lot of economic benefit. And when it comes to political benefits, so since Indians are important vote bank, they are important vote bank, they are fundraisers, and they are in the higher positions, being prime ministers or vice presidents or holding important political positions. So it creates a pro-India atmosphere. It creates a pro-India atmosphere. It helps in lobbying. It helps in lobbying for India. Like we have seen 2005, it's a great example of how the Indian diaspora has helped in getting a 2005 civil nuclear deal. So political benefits are there, so lobbying is there. Then when you have issues, some differences, because you are having that kind of emotional connect with the home country. Now you have taken the host country, you have adopted the citizenship of the home country, but still that emotional connect is there. So conflict resolution, discussions, if you see, that also becomes a little bit easier. And then when you talk about the political benefits for India, so lobbying is there, then a lot of your discussions on certain issues become easier with the people who are holding the political positions in those countries. So, and then when you talk about decision making also, if you see, decision making at the time of, especially when you are in adversarial times, or policy making. So Indian people living outside India, they act as, sometimes they are the person who are giving you the first hand information of what is happening in those countries, and that gives you you can say that gives you an idea of how to handle that situation, and that helps you in making your policy more pragmatic, more practical. Like say for example, the Indian diaspora which was in Afghanistan at the time of taking over of the Taliban this time in 2021, they gave us the ground picture what exactly is happening there. So based on that, we have taken up initiatives, quick initiatives to evacuate our people from Afghanistan. So that also helps in practical decision making also. So, and it also helps in trust building. So overall, the Indian diaspora's rising influence is beneficial for India in economic and political areas. So you can talk about it, and then in the end we can talk about, it's not only just economic or political, there are so many intangible benefits that we also get from the rise of of your diaspora. So intangible benefits, like it improves the image of India, and it also helps the Indian youth to aspire, to study well, to go to these countries and aspire for higher positions here, because that is what is intangible benefit that we cannot measure, but it is definitely impacting very positively to the Indian youth here. And every Indian outside is an Indian ambassador. So they are building the image of India, and that is why every country is now looking for Indians in their economic areas, in their MNCs, and even they are having that trust that they are electing us into their parliaments. So that is your Indian diaspora. Now let us move on to the third question, which is a 15-marker question. The question is, the expansion and strengthening of NATO and a stronger US-Europe strategic partnership works well in India. What is your opinion about this statement? Give reasons and examples to support your answer. Now, when you look at this question, 2-3 things are coming to my mind. one thing is, and that is what like we have been discussing continuously in the classes also, that Indo-Pacific and US, these are the areas where India has of late started focusing lot, and UPSC has been constantly asking questions here. If you talk about Indo-Pacific, so right from when we started Operation Project Mosam, UPSC asked it, then Quad, UPSC asked it, AUKUS, UPSC asked it, I2U2, UPSC asked that, and now we have NATO, which is expanding in the Indo-Pacific. So again, NATO has been asked, and this is what we were discussing in the classes also. And then stronger US-Europe strategic partnerships. So that is what West की तरफ जो हम ज़्यादा जा रहे हैं, उसके ऊपर भी you will see that US से भी बहुत questions पिछले 2-4 सालों में आए हैं. So something that has to be like learned from these questions is that it's not that they are not going to repeat the themes, or they are not going to repeat the questions. If you see, SEO has been repeated, organization just in a gap of 1 year has been repeated, and then diaspora, similar kind of a question has been repeated with a gap of just 2 years, and the theme of Indo-Pacific and getting closer to US, West, especially US, they are constantly asking questions on this theme. So don't say कि ये आ चुका है या अभी आया है तो फिर नहीं आएगा. So because this is something is very important regions of focus in our foreign policy, so UPSC is going to ask questions on this also. And while doing Indo-Pacific and all, we have discussed about NATO, and we have extensively discussed about our relationship with US and growing closeness to Europe also in the classes. And NATO has been covered in our current affairs magazines also. There has been a big story on NATO also. Now let us come here to the question. The expansion and strengthening of NATO and a stronger US-Europe strategic partnership works well in India. So there are two things here. It is talking about NATO, and it is also talking about US and Europe relationship, in a stronger US and Europe relationship. Now, expansion and strengthening of NATO. So if you see NATO ka expansion, so we have seen that NATO has been, the new members that have been added to NATO is your Finland and Sweden, and they have joined NATO. Then expansion also we are seeing is that now for the last 2 years, last year also 4 Indo-Pacific countries have gone for the NATO summit. Though they are not the members of NATO, but they are actively engaging with NATO in the areas of aapka digital security, counter-terrorism, and all those things, non-traditional threats. So NATO expansion is happening. You know, we have Finland, we have Sweden, then we have NATO +4, that is your Japan, South Korea, we have Australia and New Zealand. Since last year, they are participating. This was the second time they have participated in the NATO summit. So we are seeing the strengthening and expansion of NATO. Similarly, this whole Russia-Ukraine crisis, what we have seen is it has further brought US and Europe closer. So there is now more closeness of US and Europe, and rise of US as a security provider in this region. Otherwise, NATO was even said by Macron as brain dead. But now we are seeing the strengthening of their partnership in NATO also. And this year in the summit, they have decided that the NATO members, they would be investing 2% of their GDP into the defense and security aspect. So NATO is, and US-Europe partnership is gaining lot of weightage, you know. And since 2019, what we are seeing is that NATO has started saying that China is a threat to the economic and strategic interest of NATO and its allies. So they have started focusing on China. since 2009. So that's just a kind of a background ki what is happening here. So the expansion and strengthening of NATO and a stronger US-Europe strategic partnership work well in India. What is your opinion about this statement? So if we see the expansion of NATO, how it is good or bad for India, your opinion. So expansion, when you talk about expansion of NATO, and especially NATO is coming into the Indo-Pacific, otherwise NATO is a European group. So when it is coming to Indo-Pacific, so it has benefits to India also, like because it is going to act as a deterrence to counter China. And Indo-Pacific is a region where our lot of interest is lying. We want to expand our Act East policy beyond South China Sea. We want to go to Latin American countries. We want to go to Caribbean countries. So naturally, China is creating a problem here. So naturally, when NATO is there, so there is a sense of security. And so it is acting as a deterrence to China. So that is one benefit that India can get from the expansion of NATO here. Second thing is that if you look at these countries, NATO countries or US-Europe relationship here, so these all are democracies. All of them are democracies. So naturally, they all will promote and they all are together to promote the democratic principles. That is freedom of navigation. They are here to promote आपका जो है rule based order. That is UNCLOS, United Nations Convention on the Laws of the Sea. They are here to promote free and open Indo-Pacific because China is trying to have control over more than 80% of the South China Sea by claiming it through 9-9. So naturally it is against the rule based order, it is against UNCLOS. So that is what, like, if the democracies will become prominent in the region, it is definitely going to be good for us also, because we also promote rule based order. Then there are other concerns also in the Indo-Pacific, like the concerns of growing traditional and non-traditional security threats. That is like piracy issues are there, illegal fishing by China in Pacific and also in the Indian Ocean region. We are seeing the illegal fishing. Then आपका जो है arms movement is happening in this region, drugs are happening in this region. So a lot of your traditional and non-traditional security threats, climate change and its impact on security of the region. So here, if they come together, stronger Europe and US and stronger NATO comes here and it starts taking up even non-traditional security threats, it is good. Rather, we can say that it is going to complement our initiatives also. Like we have Sagar, then we have Colombo Security Conclave, we have India, Indo-Pacific Island Countries Forum and all. So this is definitely going to enhance. It is definitely going to enhance traditional and non-traditional security, which is very much the foremost thing which is required for development and growth in the region. So NATO expansion in a positive way, this way it is going to help us. Now when we talk about further growing of your US and European partnership in the region, so this is also good for India, because see, now again to counter China, this is very much important for India, because if you see most of the countries, they are part of BRI, and and to counter BRI, India is not a part of BRI. We have to have our parallel initiatives, and for that we need these countries' support. And then if you see, we have Asia-Africa Growth Corridor with the help of Japan is there. Then we have, then there are initiatives taken by G7 like Build Back Better World. B3W is there. Then we have Global Gateway also there. Then we have Global Partnership in Infrastructure and Investment. So all these, if you look at the alternate that the West is promoting here, and all of them are saying that India is an important partner in their Indo-Pacific strategy. So that is definitely going to benefit India to counter China here. Second thing is, if you see Europe and US, now these countries, they both are promoting this is also your US and Europe. They have been in the last few years, they have been dependent on China for manufacturing, but now they are promoting China plus one. They are promoting China plus one. They are now promoting friendshoring. They are promoting आपका जो है alternative supply chain. So definitely India is going to get benefit because of this growing US-Europe relationship. And we are seeing a lot of investments coming from in the area of semiconductor, in the area of defense, also joint production and all. So that is definitely going to benefit India. And third thing, that we can get out of this, positive thing that we can get out of this is your strategic in strategic dimension also. Like if you see now to counter China, because China is not only becoming it has not only become a manufacturing hub and strong economy, but it is also influencing major आपका जो है multilateral organizations. So definitely now West would be supporting the organizations where India can play a dominant role, and that we will see that we have seen even in the recent G20. The West, US and Europe, they have been demanding for a strong wording against Russia because of Russia-Ukraine crisis in the G20 final communique. But and it was feared that we will not be able to come up with a consensus, but finally it has happened. Why? Because why this combination US and Europe has mellowed down? Because they do not want India to be a loser in these groupings. So to counter Chinese influence, because otherwise we have seen in the BRICS recently, the expansion of BRICS is more towards rising influence of China. So to counter that, West has agreed for a lenient statement against Russia in the G20 final communique. So that is where we are seeing that we will be supported by this grouping in increasing our stature in political arena also. And then to counter BRI, what we have seen that US and Europe in the very recent G20, they have also agreed to come up with a new connectivity project, that is India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. So definitely this grouping is going to have a lot of positive results for India. But on the other side, we can also have certain concerns. We have seen certain concerns. So that is what, like concerns like growing closeness to Europe and US has also in some way impacted our relationship with Russia. It is also impacting India-China relationship. China has been very vocal against India, saying that India has joined Asian NATO. So ever since India has started getting closer to US and Europe, we are seeing Chinese aggression against India has increased, and some of the Chinese allies, like you see Iran, they are also not happy. Russia, though we are maintaining a balance, but still there are certain low points because of this growing relationship with the West. And then if you see this recent India Middle East Economic Corridor, now we are seeing Turkey is opposing it. And so we are on the one hand, if we are getting closer to Europe and US, so there are the countries which are closer to China, they are going to definitely create hurdles to us. And another very important thing is the growing NATO's influence in Indo-Pacific. And this is what I have been always discussing in the classes, that the growing NATO influence is not good for us in the Indo-Pacific, because this is going to increase militarization in the region. And if the NATO is going to have its influence more in the region, China will not sit quietly. So China is looking for alternatives to counter NATO. That is what we are seeing for the last 2-3 years. China is trying hard to come with a security pact with the Pacific countries. So China would definitely come to counter NATO. So this militarization in the region is not good. So there are like positives, but at the same time there are concerns. So that is what, like, how you can sum up your answer. The expansion and strengthening of NATO and a stronger US-Europe strategic partnership works well in India. So in 2-3 lines you can introduce by showing how NATO and this relationship is expanding and strengthening, and then how it is good for you, how it is good for India. So both the NATO and US, Europe, you can segregate it and you can write it, that how it is going to benefit India. And before your conclusion, 1-2 lines you can talk about the concerns, and then finally concluding you can talk about what India has to do to create a balance for this. Now let us come to the fourth question, 15 marker. And this is in sync with the last line of the IR syllabus that has been given by UPSC, which is about your international bodies. So generally we have seen the trend is that if somebody is in the news where India has become a member, or that has been in the news because of one or the other reason, they have been generally asking those bodies. Like once they asked UNESCO sometime back when US has come out of UNESCO. They have asked about United Nations Economic and Social Council when India became the member of this council. But now this time this IMO has been asked. But IMO as such per se has not been too much into the news. But one thing can be understood from this is that there are certain contemporary issues. And one contemporary issue is आपका जो है maritime safety and security. Maritime safety and security, be it from your traditional threat, be it from your non-traditional threat. Traditional means because of the geopolitics, and non-traditional here means because of climate change, because of oil spillage, because of unsustainable fuels that we are using here, because of rising piracy here, because of so many जो है natural calamities, cyclones and all those things happening here. So that is why the term, this maritime safety and security, has been a contemporary area of concern. And that is why you will see that this maritime, the theme of maritime or oceans have been there in this year's UPSC GS in paper 1, paper 2 as well as in paper 3. So the learning from it is that we also need to focus on the contemporary issues which is of common concern to everyone, and if there is any important agency, any important scheme, any important policy, any important institution, so we should have some idea about it. So best source for this is your IMO का website पे आप चले जाओ. What they do about us is there, FAQs are there. So that is what is like a best source to do the static part of this. And the last line of your syllabus says आपका जो है their mandate, structure and mandate. So it is talking about the mandate. Now let us look at the question. The question is, sea is an important component of the cosmos. Means seas are important, it is an important component because it is, right now it is said that whosoever is influencing the global maritime trade, they are the superpowers. The global maritime trade जो है आपका, so maritime is there, and then maritime के चलते जो है आपका lot of your climate change issues are also impacting your marine system. So that is why sea is an important component of the cosmos. Discuss in the light of the above statement the role of the IMO, International Maritime Organization, in protecting environment. So one role has to be with respect to what it is doing to protect the environment, and second part is what it is doing for increasing maritime safety and security. So this is a completely factual आपका जो है question. So what you can do is you can write 2-3 lines about कि how important are the seas now, है ना, आपका जो है ट्रेड से लेकर के जियो पॉलिटिक्स से लेकर के एनवायरमेंटल कंसर्न्स को लेके फ्रॉम एवरी एस्पेक्ट सीज आर इम्पॉर्टेंट. एंड देन व्हाट इज दिस IMO, 1 or 2 line you can talk about what is this IMO, and then you can talk about what role it is doing. So if you talk about IMO is a International Maritime Organization. It is a UN का specialized agency, which is what is its responsibility? The responsibility of IMO is for the safety and security of shipping and the prevention of marine and atmospheric pollution by ships. That is what is the most important mandate which is written at the IMO website. Okay, so IMO kya hai? You can begin with that, and then you can talk about what role it is doing to protect environment. Hai na? So it is if you look at IMO, it is the organization which also sets global standards for safety, security and environmental performance of international shipping, you know, which are fair, effective, यूनिवर्सली अडॉप्टेड एंड एप्लीकेबल. ठीक है, तो ये आपका जो है एनवायरनमेंट के लिए काम कर रहा है. इट इज़ ऑल्सो वर्किंग टूवर्ड्स 2030 एजेंडा. इट इज़ वर्किंग टूवर्ड्स फुलफिलिंग आपका जो है सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स. देन इट इज़ ऑल्सो वर्किंग फॉर एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ इंटरनेशनल शिपिंग right from design, construction, operation and final ship breaking. Everything has to be eco-friendly, because ship making and ship breaking, everything has lot of environmental pollution. It creates lot of environmental pollution. So it is involved in the aspects of all the shipping stages, right from design, construction, operation to ship breaking. So that why it is involved? To ensure safe, environmentally sound and energy efficient shipping industry. Then if you see, it is also working on the areas of reducing the permissible sulfur content in ship fuels, so that it will lead to low air pollution. And in all these aspects, it is also working on maritime education, training, traffic management, so that there is green shipping industry, because more than 80% of the global trade is happening through oceans. So we can write on different initiatives or areas what it has been working to protect environment. And then when it comes to your safety and security, so here also you will see that it is working for the safety and security of ships. उनके डिज़ाइन पोर्ट के साथ उनका जो है, उनका पोर्ट के साथ, वेसल के साथ, कार्गो के साथ interconnection to provide security. For that it has come up with ISPS code also. So it has introduced ISPS code to enhance safety of the ships, of the vessels, of the ports and all. Even at the time of disasters, natural or man-made calamities, it has been actively involved in search and rescue operation to save lives. Then it is also working with international organizations and naval forces of different countries to counter piracy and to counter robbery, counter non-traditional security threats. Then it is also setting standards for construction equipment to ensure safe construction of ships, because if the ships are not properly designed, constructed, it is definitely a threat to the lives of so many people here. And जो आपका, it's not only the lives of people, even जो ship wreckage होता है तो उसका जो है उससे कितना marine pollution होता है. So basically overall there are so many initiatives. I have just named a few important ones. So this organization is working towards this. Yes. And how to conclude in this? You may simply write about the points, because it's a very, very factual thing, points on this, and in the end again you may praise about it, or you can talk about countries should respect IMO and all the countries should cooperate fully with IMO to promote green shipping industry in the world. So here we come to the end of all the 4 questions. So again, the questions were quite simple, straightforward, but yes, it needs your current awareness and some basics. Your basics should be clear when it is talking about like SEO. So SEO में problem क्या है? That's a basic issue. And how India can help in that. So what India has been doing in the last so many years to resolve issues there, you can map with it. Diaspora जो है, डायस्पोरा का करंट में कैसे डायस्पोरा इज राइजिंग एंड हाउ इट इज गोइंग टू help us or in the areas, different areas here they have asked about political and economic, so you should be aware about it. And the growing NATO and Europe and US relationship, that is completely आपका current based question, and this is your static question and very much according to your syllabus. And all the 4 questions are from your syllabus directly. What syllabus says? Question number 1 is about SEO. Syllabus says global groupings. है ना, आपका regional groupings, bilateral, regional and global groupings. So that is what आपका question number 1. That is what syllabus is saying. Then your syllabus has also a one word diaspora. So directly from diaspora. And then आपका NATO and Europe and US relationship, your syllabus is saying that politics and policies of developed and developing countries involving India or impacting India's interests. So directly from your syllabus. And 4th question is the last line of your syllabus, international organization, their structure and mandate. So nothing has come out of syllabus, very much from the syllabus. Thank you.